Welcome back to the Disciplined Degen Show. I am your host, Matty Betts. I'm here with the biggest degenerate I know, GIno Donati from Bet Openly, and it is already NFL Week 4. If you are watching live with us right now, we do appreciate that. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button on YouTube. And if you're watching this after we stream live on YouTube, make sure you use the chapters at the bottom of the video. I know you degenerates have zero attention span, so you can scroll to any single game you would like a breakdown of with our recaps as well at the very end of the video. And as always, if you are not on betopenly.com, make sure you go and get an account today. It is in the description. If you're not on there yet, you just don't like money. You're going to save money on every primetime game, most Sunday games, and every single sport, whether you bet NFL, college football, basketball, UFC, it doesn't matter. Better lines and odds are there and available for you. BetOpenly.com. Go to the subscription below. Let's go ahead and dive into a recap of NFL Week 3. It was a fun week for sure. First question I have for GIno right here. Is this Dolphins team the best offense in the entire NFL as of today?
Yeah, you'd be crazy to argue that. Like, I get that they haven't played the best defenses. You know, they got, where were they at the chart? Actually, they played New England. But yeah, I wanted to say my Niners, but they're balanced, dude. The fact that they came out and rushed so much, they're balanced. That's all you want. They're nasty.
70 piece is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've been on record saying both Tua and Jalen are going to have great careers, but I was always picking Jalen just because of the durability factor with Tua. But man, it's hard for me to argue that Tua is not the better thrower of the football than Jalen, honestly. Like he can really sling that rock in the pocket. He's extremely accurate. I believe in the Dolphins, and my preseason prediction is looking decent here.
I was going to ask
Eagles versus Dolphins Super Bowl, 50-1. I gave everyone that preseason, so I'm hoping that hits. I really am.
I want to ask y'all right now, what do you think is more likely? Matty gave out a bigger long shot, so I got to give him love there. Matty gave out Eagles versus Dolphins. I gave out Niners versus Bills. I think we both got a real chance there.
Yeah. I want to address a quick comment here. This is really important. Only problem with Bet Openly is they have a 3% deposit fee. I can promise you right now that 3% deposit fee is pennies. You're going to save that after betting on just a few games. And I'll let GIno add to that.
Yeah. So one, you're 100% right, brother. There's a processing fee. I can't get around that. The cheapest way is crypto. I know a lot of people don't like crypto, but that's 1%. And no matter how you deposit, even the dirty 3%, which I don't love, I don't take that, by the way. It goes to PayPal. You bet one play and you lose, you save 10%. That puts you 7% in the green. So I wish I could make it go away. I can't. There are people that deposit, bet, and withdraw. I would lose 2%. I can't have a business like that.
Long story short, I promise you, all my life, that fee is the most minimal thing you'll ever imagine based off of compared to what you're going to save using the site. So, all right, let's get and keep diving through the recap here. The answer is yes, the Dolphins are extremely loaded. Let's look at the AFC North real quick. Is this the toughest division in football today? Because right now, the Baltimore Ravens, is this even right? They're favored at plus 165 to win that division. Cleveland's plus 240, Cincy plus 370, Pittsburgh's plus 370. I'm wondering if those numbers don't sound right to me. But is the AFC North the question? The question is the AFC North the most difficult division in football right now?
Yeah, well, with the Raiders losing now and like the Chargers winless, it's Denver looking like hell. It cannot be the AFC West, which was most would say. I don't know though. You got the Patriots have played a really tough schedule.
Yeah.
So anyone out there that's a Patriots fan, like hold your head high. This will be a very big test going to Dallas. It's one of the toughest where top to bottom, every team can win every week. So I'll give you that. I still think the NFC West is a little bit better right now.
Yeah. And you can't sleep on the NFC East either.
No, you cannot at all.
Can't. So, all right, last question before we dive into week 4. Who's your rookie of the year right now? I'm going to give you the top 3 favorites. We got CJ Stroud plus 310, Bijan Robinson plus 320, and Anthony Richardson plus 600, which is wild because he's coming off the injury, and I don't even know if he's playing this week. But really, it seems to be a 2-man race right now between CJ Stroud and Bijan Robinson. Who you like?
I would say buy Bijan right now low. Obviously second best isn't that low, but Stroud came off a damn good game. Yeah. Jacksonville looked horrendous.
Hey, I like that comment right there. There's a rookie.
That's
a long shot. I want to know what those odds are. Someone look up those odds and put it in the comments for me. I'd love to know.
And to back up your question, dude, it is the Ravens right now.
Yeah, that's wild. The Ravens are the favorites to win the AFC North.
There's a little bit of guys. There's value right now buying Cleveland high. I mean,
Cleveland or Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh plus 380. They have one loss to the Niners.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. We both gave out Pittsburgh preseason. I want to say plus 800.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a very interesting.
North's going to be competitive all year, I think. So.
Through and through.
All right. Before we dive into week 4, let's go over the 0-3 NFL teams. The reason it's important to know this is where is trying to identify value for NFL week 4. So the 0-3 teams, the Broncos, Vikings, Bears, and Panthers. Make sure you guys remember that. We're going to come back to that. 0-3 against the spread teams. We have the Giants, the Bears, and the Broncos. And then the teams that are 3-0 against the spread, the Miami Dolphins, the Arizona Cardinals, which is crazy, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles could be 2-1 depending on what number you got them at in week 2, but this is based off the closing line. So remember those 3 things as we dive into the week 4 slate. And let's go ahead and jump right into Thursday night football. We have the Lions at Green Bay. The money line right now, these are betopenly.com numbers. It's basically a pick 'em, right? Detroit's minus 108, Green Bay plus 108, very close to a pick 'em. Lions are 1-point favorite on the road, over under 46. David Montgomery is questionable. Christian Watson, Aaron Jones questionable as well. Couple trends in this game from our partners over at Outlier. The Packers 51-14 at home coming off a win. Obviously that trends with Aaron Rodgers, but still very impressive nonetheless. Lions, on the other hand, 11-3 against the spread coming off of a win. What do you lean on in this game so far?
Yeah, and just guys, buy low, sell high. Packers are technically a buy low. They didn't cover. They were minus 1.5 at tip-off last game. Home dog in prime time is again Packers. I might stop saying that word, home dog in prime time. It seems damn dead. But I'm having a real hard time not liking Detroit here. It's going to sound square, but I have Detroit in my top 10 in power rankings. They're a good team. The only loss to Seattle, I think they fumbled 3 times. You got to just take that with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. Final answer though. I think Green Bay Packers in fireworks here. So if I had to bet this, I'm betting the over. Don't like overs in primetime right now, but I do like it in this situation. Green Bay's defense has been overperforming, I would say. I expect a 27-23 game.
I like that. You said Green Bay or Detroit?
Green Bay, slightly.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm hesitant to take that over here, division game, and in primetime. So I'll probably stay away from that total. But one thing I will say to look at in this game, the Packers are second in the league offensively in red zone efficiency. We saw last game, right? Wow. They're down the whole game, but then when they put those drives together and they get down there, they execute, right? So they're second in the league offensively in red zone efficiency. The Detroit Lions are 22nd defending it. So that's very important to look at. Jordan Love right now, Jordan Love is 3rd in the league versus the Lions, 20th in quarterback hits, right? So basically the Packers are really good at protecting Jordan Love, 3rd in the league at protecting him from getting hit, and the Lions are only getting the quarterbacks. They're 20th in the league. So I like Green Bay to roll at home here, bro. I'm a believer right now in this Green Bay team. I think, they're a home dog here in primetime, +1. I like Jordan Love. I'm buying the Packers here at home. They've always historically been a very good home team. And in a division game where the Packers usually own the Lions for the most part, I have to buy in Green Bay here as a dog. This could maybe hit my dog and under parlay. I think that total is going to be very close. I think it's going to be right on the money here. I could see like a 24-21 Green Bay game, or maybe like a 27-24 if it goes over, something like that.
And throwing Matty some more love here. There is more money more tickets. Excuse me. There's more tickets on both Detroit money line and Detroit in the spread, but there's more money on the Packers relative to the tickets. So that's usually an indication that the Packers are sharp here. There's heavier tickets coming in on the Packers, more tickets coming in on the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a good question here. I'm assuming this line is no Jones and Watson. As of today, both those guys are questionable. So we'll have to monitor that the next couple of days. But I would assume that I think that based on the odds, they're probably anticipating at least one or two of them not playing.
Yeah, and I think Watson matters more to me, at least in this matchup.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's the official leans for Thursday Night Football. Let's go ahead and dive into the weekend slate. This is a Sunday morning. You degenerates right now watching, set your alarm for Sunday morning because this is the first London game of the season.
Or stay up all night, baby.
There you go. 50-50 split here on the ticket. So let me go over the odds first.
Yeah.
Falcons are a 3-point dog not on the road, on a neutral field in London. They're a plus 144 on the money line at Bet Openly. Over under 43 in this game. 50-50 split so far on the tickets, right? Cordarrelle Patterson questionable, Zay Jones questionable for the Lions. Some quick trends in this game. And I was looking for trends in London. I couldn't find much today, but the under is hit in 5 of the Falcons' last 6 games coming off of a loss. They did lose last week. The Falcons are 1-4 on the road coming off a loss. Don't know if you can use that trend considering it's a neutral field, but still something to look at. Well, GIno, what do you lean on in this game?
And guys, just to double down on what Matty's saying is you can find trends that might not be valid because of an alternative. And what he's saying is, although the trends are accurate with Atlanta and accurate with Jacksonville, there is that third layer that we're adding here in London. So just be aware, guys, because a lot of times you'll hear trends, you'll want to slam down the money, but you got to go just a level deeper. So to back up Matty here, I'm only seeing 28% of the tickets on the under, but 54% of the money. That to me screams the best bet. I actually think Atlanta is going to give this Jacksonville team a very hard time. I like Atlanta here, and I like Atlanta money line. So I like the +3 and I like money line. Probably like the +3 the most, and because I just told you all I lean under. When you lean under, points are more valuable. So that's what I see the most of. That's what I like the most in this game. And man, do I love waking up for us East Coasters to get that West Coast early game kind of. I'm pumped for Sunday.
Yeah. So look, I think you close your eyes on this game and take the under 43 points, right? I just don't think either team's offense is that impressive right here. Falcons are 11th in red zone efficiency defense and 4th in defend in the passing game. So both teams bottom 3rd in the league in scoring. 43.5 seems a little high here, in my opinion. I think if you want that under, I think you lock it in now. I could see that number. It already went from 43.5 to 43. I could see it maybe even dropping another half a point or so. But I can 100% see like a 21-17, a 2017 type of game in London. But then again, there's London games. You just never know what's going to happen. So don't go too heavy on this Sunday morning game to start your day off. The last thing you want to happen is to be down big on a 9 a.m. game and then chasing the whole day trying to get it back
before your coffee's cold. I do remember too, London's had some foggy, cold, wet games. So
yeah,
if that checks any of those boxes, I would start to really like this under.
Yeah. Well, for my official lean, I'm going under. I'm passing on the team. What were you on again?
I'll say Atlanta +3 is my favorite. I'll split that in half with the money line.
I like it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next Sunday game. So this is the 1 p.m. Eastern slate. Now we are looking at the Rams, a +113 dog on Bet Openly at Indianapolis. 2 points is the spread, and the over/under at 47. 73% of the public are on the Rams already. 27% of the tickets are on the Colts. That's crazy, right? Because the Rams are coming off an embarrassing performance at Cincinnati just on Monday Night Football, where they really could not protect Matthew Stafford. Anthony Richardson's still questionable for the Colts. We'll have to monitor him this week to see if he's playing. Some quick trends on the game. Rams are 1-7 on the road coming off of a loss. And the under is hit in 17 of the last 25 Ram games coming off of a loss as well. GIno, what do you like here?
Oh, man. I can't believe I hate the Rams. Like, I don't hide my Niners fandom. I think the only way you can bet this game is Rams money line. This is also a buy low, sell high from the Rams perspective. Mm-hmm. The public's going to look at them. They were, like Matty said, they did a terrible job protecting Stafford. They looked nothing like the team that was moving the ball down the field with a bunch of hook and ladder passes. I'm stuck here like in the Rams. And I guess the over. I guess. Man, it's hard. People are going to be high on the Colts after what they did to a really good Baltimore team.
Yeah, so I agree. The buy low spot here is definitely on the Rams, and you want to sell the Colts high. But the problem with doing that here is I think this is a really bad mismatch for the Rams. Like the Colts, ready for this? First in the entire NFL on tackles for losses. Wow. And the Rams cannot protect Matthew Stafford. They can't run the ball well. Yep. They can't protect Stafford. They keep giving up all these sacks. He looked terrible on Monday Night Football. He looked absolutely terrible. So after what I just saw in Cincinnati, I had dogs and under. I'm rooting for the Rams.
Oh, I know.
It's a perfect game script for me. It's low scoring. Joe Burrow couldn't do anything the first half, and they lose that game 19-9. So, like, I get from a standpoint of, like, okay, now you want to buy on them after they look like shit. But at the same time, I think this Indianapolis Colts D-line can cause a lot of issues here. So I'm on the other side. On the other side of both Gino's picks here, I like the Colts and the under as my initial leans. Not official plays, but I do think the Colts D-line could have a lot of success here. I actually like the under the game more so than anything. I want to see who's playing, whether it's Gardner or Anthony Richardson, because I think if Anthony Richardson's playing, I think you go under. I think there's a lot more running the ball between the quarterback running and the run game running, whereas Gardner's going to sling the rock a little bit more. So I like the under of this game most likely, and I think I think the Colts would be my lean, but I do agree with you. It's a tough spot to kind of buy them on.
100%.
So let's move on to the next game here. Oh. We got Baltimore and Cleveland. Division game. Ravens a plus 127 dog on betopenly.com. 3 points is the spread and over under 41.5 here. Interesting total. We're going to come back to that in a minute. Ravens injuries, Justice Hill, OBJ is questionable, Gus Edwards. This team is banged up, guys. They have too many injuries for me to even read right now. Browns injuries, we know about Nick Chubb on the IR. Quick trends, the Ravens 18-6 versus the Browns over their last 24 games. That's an important one here. And here's another one. Browns are 7-13 against the spread, coming off of a win in their last 20 games. Under has hit 4 of the Browns' last 5 games, coming off of a win as well. This is a tough division game here where the Ravens just lost, right, to Indianapolis, and they screwed up that game multiple times. Meanwhile, the Browns have the undisputed best defense in football through 3 weeks at least, right? This is a tough game to pick here. What do you like?
Oh, man. So Cleveland's only loss is to Pitt, right? Mm-hmm. I know you guys don't want to do this. It'll drive you nuts, but Pitt's only losses to the Niners. So that, again, I don't see it as a bad loss. And I'm higher on Cleveland than most people, especially in the power rankings. I got a bunch of judgment for having Cleveland high in my power rankings preseason and all 3 weeks, even after their loss. So with that said, I'm insanely low on Deshaun. I could not be more unimpressed with Deshaun. Everyone talks about system quarterbacks. I don't think Cleveland's winning anything because of Deshaun right now. So he's not why. Their defense is real. Why do I say all that? Baltimore is a buy low. Cleveland's a sell high. But I'm having a hard time being confident in this Baltimore. I'm probably going to stay away from a team, and I'm going to hope for a defensive war here. I love this division under. I want to give Matty what he wants here. It's a great bounce back spot for Baltimore. Great spot for division early in the season. Under, I could see this being a disgusting 13-10. Absolute war, and hopefully Matty gets his underdog and under win. I just don't have a team lean here, guys. I'm too high on Cleveland. Too many systems point at Baltimore. So I will be only on the under here, and I'll probably be one of my bigger bets.
Yeah, this is a game where analytically and data-wise, everything points to the Browns as being the superior team, plus the healthier team. But then on the flip side, all the trends point to the Ravens, right? Ravens 18-6 versus the Browns in their last 24 games. Browns 7-13 against the spread coming off of a win, right? So when this team plays well, usually they regress their next game. Here's the one thing that you really need to look at in this game. The Browns are first in the league defensively in scoring, quarterback hits, red zone efficiency, first downs, passing yards, and yards per play, and they're second in the league defensively in defending the run. Everything I just said there is an absolute nightmare for Lamar Jackson.
I know.
An absolute nightmare. They're banged up on offense, right? Lamar turns the ball over. He's sloppy. This Browns defense, I would not be surprised if they came out and just teed off on this Ravens offense. But again, all the trends do point to the Ravens here. Ravens, here's the one thing I will say. If you like the Ravens are second in the league in converting third downs. So maybe there's a world where Baltimore can just move the chains here. Quick 5-yard plays, 7-yard plays, 8-yard plays, move the chains, run clock, keep the Browns off the field. And maybe even if they do settle for field goals, maybe they have to do enough to cover or win this game outright in Cleveland. It's a tough game for me. This is a game where I'll probably be on the first half under. I believe it's at 20.5 right now. The total for the game would scare me more, right? If Deshaun or Lamar make plays late in this game and it goes over somehow. But 20.5, I don't see many touchdowns, if any, in the first half. So I think that this could be a solid first half underplay at 20.5. What do you think about it?
And I love it. I love the under every way. And again, guys, don't read too deep into this, but just something to be noted where they have Baltimore's favored to win this division, but they're dogs right here going into Cleveland, and Cleveland already has a better record. If Cleveland goes up 2 games on Baltimore, that's going to flip on its head right away. And the mathematically, books probably have Cleveland minus 140, 145. So something fishy there. There's some way Baltimore keeps this close. But again, guys, sorry to be so boring. I'm just going to hammer that under.
Yeah, definitely a tough game to pick a side on. Let's move on here. Vikings at Panthers. Vikings a minus 178 favorite on Bet Openly here on the road at Carolina. The spread is 3.5. The total is 45.5. And 61% of the tickets so far on this Minnesota Vikings team. 39% on the Panthers. Makes a lot of sense there, right? The Panthers got embarrassed last week. However, Andy Dalton, I had to like check my eyes on this in the box score. I had to look at it 3 times just to make sure I wrote this down right. Andy Dalton threw the ball 58 times for 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Definitely was not Andy Dalton's fault the Carolina Panthers didn't win last week. Now, the Vikings are 1-3-1 against the spread coming off a loss. Panthers, ready for this? 12-31 straight up coming off a loss in their last 43 games. They are a 3.5-point dog at home here. I think this game really comes down to whether Andy Dalton is playing or not for me, but what do you think?
I think he'll play. He has no reason not to after that performance, right? They
played well, and you don't want to rush your rookie quarterback back after being hurt, especially when this Panthers team, were they 0-3?
They're 0-3.
So I think there's no reason to rush him back. I agree with you. I think Andy Dalton will play here.
The Red Rocket, baby.
The Red Rocket. And I'm going to let GIno talk for it, but my play of the week is on this game.
Yeah, go. All I'd say is I hate these Panthers. And that's it. No, I'm just playing. I had the Panthers as my dog of the week last week. I was very happy when they were up at halftime. I don't like the Rams. I don't like the Seahawks. I thought the Panthers were going to go in there and steal a win, and then they laid down. And I hate that they laid down. So I'm ready to give up on this Panthers team. if you made me give you all a play, when I break this down, I like a lot of points. Like if you made me, I'm seeing over 45.5 as decent. Minnesota's playing for their life. They weren't favored to win the division, but they were favored to make the playoffs. Panthers just showed, Matty just went through stats that their offense isn't the problem. Their defense is. So,
which is crazy to think,
right? Because I thought they were going to run the ball and play hard nosed defense.
It's the opposite normally for the Carolina Panthers. Their defense always carries them. The reason last week is they couldn't stop the run. I think Seattle ran for $150.
It's insane,
and just out physicaled them. But look, here's the way I look at this game, and my favorite play of the week is on this game. If you see in the comments right here.
Oh, damn.
That's my play. I love the over in this play. You guys know me. I hate fucking overs. I love unders. This is a game that, and again, Andy Dalton has to play. If Andy Dalton doesn't play, I'm not taking this over because I think they'll run the ball a lot more if he's not playing. But ready for these stats? The Minnesota Vikings defense, 26th against scoring, 29th red zone efficiency, 22nd third down conversions, 25th against the pass, 29th in QB hits, and 28th in tackles for losses. If you can't rattle Andy Dalton and you can't create negative plays, he's very capable, right? He's going to put up points, him in this Carolina offense. And Minnesota on the road, Kirk Cousins can sling the rock. He's done it all season. Both these teams, their offenses have been rolling this past week. The Vikings more so throughout the year. Carolina last week with Andy Dalton. I think 45.5 is a gift. Like, I think both teams can easily score 24 points.
With that crazy inefficiency of their defense, I do wonder if they want to throw Bryce in to build his confidence. Poor kid hasn't had any confidence yet. So I don't know how injured he is, but that throws it. So guys, just mark that with an asterisk. We need to know who the quarterback is here.
Yeah, I agree. But I do like the over a lot here. So
cool.
All right, moving on here. We got the Bengals and the Titans. Bengals a -127 favorite on Bet Openly at Tennessee. The spread is 2.5. The over-under is 41.5. 82% of the tickets already coming in on Cincinnati here after they beat the Rams just a day ago. 18% of the tickets on Tennessee. The public is selling this Tennessee team. I think Gino's ready to fucking sell them too. He hates this Tennessee team.
I hate this team
after taking them pretty much every week. The under has hit 5 of the Titans' last 6 games coming off a loss. The Titans are 3-9 straight up coming off of a loss in their last 12 games. Are you going to back them once more or are you selling them?
So this one's hard for me, right? When you're looking for sharp money, guys, you're looking for less tickets and more money. And the spread on Tennessee checks that box. 20% of the tickets, but 40% of the money. That's what you want to see. I'm not jumping on this Tennessee team again. They cost me money week 1 in New Orleans. They made me money week 2, and they cost me money week 3. I've had it with them for now. I don't give up on teams forever, but just for now. What is more interesting to me is that 22% of the tickets are on the over here, but only 5% of the money. This one seems like the sharps came in and beat this under down, but I don't see any value on it. So my final answer, if you're going to bet this is the perfect buy low, sell high on Tennessee, and you have sharp tickets backing it. So I won't be on it, but the smart money right now seems like Tennessee money line in this game. And I hate it. I hate it.
This matchup gives me flashbacks to when Joe Burrow went on the road in the playoffs and upset the Titans.
Oh,
what was that, 2 years ago?
We probably had Titans money line.
So I don't know. I honestly think Joe Burrow kind of has the Titans number. That's just the vibe I get. I don't have any data to back that up. But this is a game where I hate. I just throw this game out. I don't touch the total. I don't touch the spread. I really don't have much of a lead here, so I would just skip it 100%. I think that's kind of how you feel at this point.
Yeah. The only thing, again, the sharp money's on the spread, 2-1 on the money versus the tickets, but it's not heavy.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We got the Bucs coming to New Orleans in a division game, plus 156 on the money line for Tampa. It's a 3-point spread. One of the lowest totals of the week, 38.5 here. Ooh. 62% of the tickets on the Bucs. Pretty surprising there. 38% of the tickets on the Saints. Chase Edmonds on the IR. Derek Carr has the right shoulder injury and is questionable, and Jamal Williams on the IR. Saints 35-14 straight up at home, coming off of a loss. And the Saints are 5-2 against the spread versus the Bucs over the past 3 seasons, which that's very interesting considering Tom Brady was there for the majority of that, right? The under is hit in 13 of the Saints' last 20 games coming off of a loss. What are you leaning on here?
So this is a coming home, right? For the Bucs' old quarterback, who's now the backup quarterback or starting.
Say it again.
Who's the Saints quarterback now? That Carr's hurt. Went to FSU.
I think Carr's expected to.
Oh, is he expected to play?
Here. He's questionable, but let me check.
Yeah, hold on. Bucs starting QB. I keep saying Bucks. I'm sorry.
I think
Saints
Carr's
starting
gonna
QB.
play, but let me check here.
Well, it's Jameis Winston, but
I would love to see Jameis play, by the way.
I think he is, unless I'm mistaken. But
Yeah.
I
think you go to him regardless.
I think that's what people are selling. I think they're selling Jameis Winston. That the Bucks know him or have his number. God, this game, right? So like the Saints were almost 3-0 almost. That doesn't count. 3-0 against the spread.
Mm-hmm.
They went into Green Bay and looked dominant the first half, first three quarters. And then they fell down without.
GIno jinxed the game.
Did I?
I had Green Bay in the under as my dogs and under.
I did.
They were down 17.
Reverse jinxed it because you won.
100%. Yeah, it helped me. But yeah, he reverse jinxed it for me because I have Packers money line in the under. They're down 17-0, I think, in the fourth quarter or late in the third. GIno texted me. He was like, bro, you got to take the opening line, not the closing line. And then 30 minutes later, the Packers come back and win that game. But no, here's the thing I'll say about the Saints. It doesn't matter if Derek Carr doesn't play here. You got a capable backup and you got Taysom Hill. The Saints always have quarterbacks. They always have a good defense to lean on. They always have a good run game. Like, I think the play is the Saints here, right? They blew that lead in Green Bay, like we just talked about. Now they return home to the Superdome, and I think they hold this Bucs team to 14 points or less. Now, one thing I will say is the Bucs just got embarrassed to my Philadelphia Eagles and on national television in a primetime game. So that is the one tricky part to this game. But I think the Saints are just the far superior team. Like, if you look at the roster from top to bottom, they're far superior. Bucs are 30th in the NFL in red zone efficiency. Saints are third in the league there. I just think that the Saints team is going to, they're going to be able to make the plays in the red zone when those plays count against the Bucs. And I can't say confidently vice versa there.
Yeah, no. And thanks for the comment, Andrew. Kamara's back. Saints are getting better. They have a lot of guys out or had. Oh man, this is one of those like damned if you do, damned if you don't. The Saints defense is mean. I do think people don't realize how good this Eagles defense is. And I've been warning all of you, get your money on the Eagles now, even though they're coming off a win and a cover. Their new defensive coordinator, their new offensive coordinator, they're still not that great on offense, even though the score would say otherwise. There were some big plays there. Big plays by like an inch. I know your heart stopped. Those look like both interceptions. This one's tough for me because everything I'm seeing is telling me the sharp money is coming in slightly on the Bucs. That you're getting the Bucs cheap here. You're getting +3 in what some people believe probably should be a pick 'em or a +1.5. So
I think that's crazy.
It is crazy.
I thought the line was going to go. I thought the Saints would be -3.5 by kickoff.
And this over-under seems, unless I'm tripping, it seems a little high, even at 38.5.
How much lower can it get? 37?
Like 36, something like that. Like, think about it. What'd the Bucs do? How many points did they put up against your Eagles? Basically 3. Did they get a garbage time? I don't even remember. Was it a garbage time touchdown? It wouldn't have mattered if they did. They basically had 3 when the game was competitive. What was it?
11.
They put up 11?
Yeah, they put up the 8-point score.
An 8-point at the end. Respectively, they put up 3 in my book. And the Saints barely did anything in the second half. So, division rival under. I like the under 38.5 here. And if you made me, I'm probably taking the 3 points with the Bucs. If I'm being greedy, I would split it half and half on the money line.
Yeah, this is probably my square play of the week is the Saints here. I just think they're better everywhere. Alvin Kamara back from reinstated. I'm already seeing on FanDuel -3, -120 there. So we'll see what happens to that number. I'll have to monitor that through the week here. But
100%.
I think whether it's Jameis, whether it's Taysom, whether it's Derek Carr, whether it's Matty Betts back there, like I think the Saints gets it done, bro. I think they're just a lot better.
I could see you being a Taysom behind the center.
All right, moving on. This is the 100% the game of the week. I think this is the thumbnail on our video.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Dolphins +133 at betopenly.com at Buffalo. The spread is 3. The over-under is 53.5. 61% of the public is already back in the Dolphins. Surprise, surprise, after a 70-point performance. 39% of the tickets on the Bills. Jalen Waddle still questionable in this game. Bills look pretty healthy overall. Bills are 1-5 against the spread at home coming off a win. However, they're usually a bigger favorite than this, I would think. Bills are 17-8 versus the Dolphins now coming off of a win. That's an important one for you.
Yep.
What are you thinking here, bro? Because I have a big lean here, but I want to hear what you think.
I want the Dolphins to win. I did take the Bills preseason, so I have my biases in the Super Bowl. What I would say is there's two ways to bet this game. So I hope y'all listen up. I hope y'all don't get middled. If you told me you're taking the Bills money line, right? I would say don't. Just give up the points, right? There's going to be fireworks here. So there's two ways. The spread for me in the Bills -3, it's whatever. Don't take money line. Give up the 3. If you're going to take the Dolphins, that alternative spread people are commenting about, Dolphins money line, that to me makes infinitely more sense. Everyone's expecting fireworks here, so I'll be the boring guy, even though I don't want to be. That I'm going to wait this one out, try and get a couple points more of value, try and get something.
That total goes to 54 and
55, yeah, 54 and a half.
This is a division game. This number should.
Yeah, everyone's. So it's hard, right? The Dolphins were very balanced. That's what scares me. The Bills' defense looked very good against Washington.
Very good.
So this is an insanely high spread. The Dolphins' defense
they picked them off 4 times in that Washington game. Sam Howell, they picked them off 4 times.
And I know the Patriots' defense is better than the Bills, but the Bills' defense looked good in Washington. So
if you can get 2 at plus money to throw a pick here, I would take that.
That's a good one. What I would say, if I'm looking at it right now, I got 40% of the tickets, only 40% of the tickets on the Bills, but 75% of the money.
There you go.
This came in, I believe it was a little as 2.5 or 1.5. We were arguing in some group threads. People were surprised this wasn't a pick 'em. I said, why are you surprised? Like, people are going to have, Bills Mafia comes in thick.
Mm-hmm.
They got this perfect. You have more tickets on one side and more money on the other. That's exactly what the books want. So, I want the Dolphins to be good. I like McDaniels. I like everyone that's an old Niner. I love the offense he's put together. He's what's exciting about the NFL. The schemes that he built are Shanahan like. I cannot get away from liking the Bills here. Just think of the ownage recently with these two teams. That playoff game, I thought the Dolphins should have beat the Bills up there last year. So that, it sucks. I just think you're getting the Bills cheap here at -3.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, so first of all, I have to address this comment right here. I had Tyreek Hill's under, my worst play probably of the season. But I did go 12-2 in NFL this week, so don't call me out on one player prop loss. But here's what I'll say about this game. I love this under. 53.5. Hopefully we get it at 54. Look, the reason this number is this high is because the Dolphins just dropped the 70-piece last game. There's no scenario this game. This should be a 49-point total.
Yep.
There's no scenario this number should be 53.5. Division game in Buffalo. I don't get it, man. I think that, the Bills second in first downs, second or scoring, red zone efficiency, and sacks. So defensively, the Buffalo Bills second against first downs, scoring, red zone efficiency, and quarterback sacks. The Bills are healthy now, especially on defense. I can see this a 24-21 game, one way or the other.
Yeah.
I don't see the total being like at some point this Miami Dolphins offense is going to regress. Like, you can't just expect them to put up 30 to 70 points every game. If there's any game it regresses, it's in Buffalo.
No, I agree. And another thing, even though I was hyping up the Bills -3, I don't think the Bills score at will against these Dolphins. They've looked pretty good, and they balance it out, which means if they can't pass how they want to pass, they will be able to run, get the clock ticking, etc. This is going to be a great game. I really am excited for this game. I just think it's so smart to be on this under. We're seeing 80% of the tickets on the over, 90% of the money, 88 and 90, guys, just so you know. That doesn't mean sharp. There's a 2% variance. It just means a little bit more. I look for 2 to 1s. this just screams under. We want the fireworks. We want the good game. It's uncomfortable, right? Because both teams can break a play for 60 yards.
Well, the sickest thing is this game can still be high scored and go under.
That's fair, yeah.
27-24 is it under?
20-30. There's a lot of ways.
I think 27-24, 24-21, 27-23. Any of those scenarios I think are very likely, and I think this game goes under the number. I love this under. A lot of value on it for sure.
I might be a real degen too and go first quarter under, so then I can cheer for fun the rest of the game. Wow. Take my free money early, get it off the table, and cheer for fireworks.
I'm supposed to be the Gen 1, bro.
That's fair.
All right, Broncos versus the Bears. This game is as ugly as it gets. Let's just go to the next one.
Oh,
all right, no, I'm just kidding. All right, minus 163 on the money line for the Broncos. They're a 3.5-point favorite on the road, which is just unbelievable at this point after giving up 70 points last week. Over under 46, 84% of the tickets on the Denver Broncos, which is very crazy as well. 16% of the tickets on the Bears. Broncos are coming off of that 50-point beatdown to the Dolphins, and usually that would be a system play. Like, right? Okay, we're going to buy low on them. Guess what? Bears are coming off a 31-point beatdown to the Chiefs, so that makes it pretty difficult here. Bears 1-14 straight up coming off a loss, 6-15 against the spread coming off a loss, and the under is hit in 21 of the Bears' last 32 games. What do you like here?
If someone told me they're taking the Broncos and the Survivor, I'd say, okay, get a shitty team off your books. Decent chance of winning.
I agree.
But I guys, I know you want us to tell you to hammer every day. Like, there are so many good games on the slate. Even though Matty was joking, I think there's a lot of seriousness there. Like, don't overbet this game. Do you really want to watch this game with everything else we got going? That's all I'm saying is we don't know. Are the Broncos just terrible? Are the Bears just terrible? Do they draw very tough cards with some of the top-ranked teams in the division?
Yeah.
There's so many unknowns, and now they're facing each other after both getting beat down, which erases so many systems.
Yeah.
That, like, it'll be very hard for me to have a half a unit on this game. The only way I'll be paying attention is if I'm Broncos on my Survivor to save a good team.
Yeah, I actually think the Broncos is a pretty sharp Survivor play. It's scary as hell, but Bears 1-14 straight up coming off a loss. And if there's ever a good rebound opponent to have after losing by 50, it's probably the Chicago Bears. Like, let's just be honest there. So
can we highlight Connor here? This is arguably the biggest degen comment we've ever had in the history of degen comments. Connor here is savage. He wants to sprinkle on a tie.
Oh, shit. All right, someone go find that number and put it in the chat.
Connor, you're sick.
Someone go find that number.
You're sick, Connor.
But, yeah, I think if I had to pick a side here, I think the Broncos are this is a good rebound spot for them. They do give up the second most QB hits in the entire NFL, the Broncos, which is why they've sucked all season. But the Bears are dead last in the NFL on generating quarterback hits. So if you just look at this game and say, okay, if you're the Denver Broncos, you're like, okay, we just lost by 50. Now the very next game, which in the NFL, typically if you get your ass whooped, you typically come out the next game and are more competitive, right? So this is a good bounce back spot against a team that is 1-14 in games after coming off a loss. And you're playing against a team that cannot get after the quarterback, and that's been your weakness all year. So I do think, all things considered, I'm almost selling myself.
No, you are. The only thing I'd rebuttal with is let's not forget that Washington did nothing against the Bills, and they put up like a 30-piece in the second half against Denver. It's not just Miami putting up points on Denver. That's all. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's not just.
It's absolutely insane. So, all right, good division game here. Commanders versus my Philadelphia Eagles. The spread is 8. Do not be surprised if that number hits 10. I think it's already moved up since we even made the graphic here. Over under 44.5. 41% of the tickets on the Commanders, 59% on my Philadelphia Eagles. Logan Thomas is questionable. Quez Watkins still questionable for the Eagles. Boston Scott questionable. But how about my Philadelphia run game though, bro? We got a bomb squad. I'll tell you what, we got an absolute bomb squad. Some trends in this game. The over is hit in 11 of the Eagles' last 14 games at home coming off of the win. Wow. Eagles are 41-19 at home straight up and 28-12 against the spread, coming off of the win. Here's one thing I will say in this game. Last year, my Philadelphia Eagles started off the season 8-0, and they went for 9-0 at home. And guess who their opponent was? The Washington Commanders. And we were, I believe, a double-digit favorite in that game, or very close to it. And guess what happened? They dropped a 30-piece on our heads in Philly, and we lost that game. It was our first loss of the season. This is a scary game to me. It really is, especially with the Commanders coming off of that 37-3 loss this week. The question is this a bounce-back game against a familiar division opponent? What do you think?
I got so many things I want to ask you. Yeah. First and foremost, who loses first? Dolphins, Eagles, or Niners?
I gotta look at the schedule.
Gotta look at the schedules. Like I pulled them up. I want y'all to know in the comments. Tell me who loses first.
Well, the reality of it is you know damn well the Eagles versus Dolphins in week.
Well, we play Cowboys. 7? That's not a passer. We also go to Browns.
I'm just saying the Eagles versus Dolphins. You know the script is set. That both teams are gonna be undefeated.
I said the same thing about Dallas, and that crashed and burned.
No, we knew Dallas would fuck it up.
You did. You get credit there. I do not. Well, y'all we don't have to do this now. We can do this on Twitter later. Who will be the last undefeated team? I think that's a very interesting debate. Obviously, the schedule matters, so we'll skip past that.
Yeah.
To Matty's question, the Eagles are getting a little overbet here, in my opinion. I'm seeing some books have this as high as 9.5 already. That's crazy to me. Just so you all know, I don't like overhyping Bet Openly, but I appreciate Matty doing it. We're a sharper book in the sense that we take a consensus of all the big books and combine it down. So you get the best of both sides, but I'm seeing this as high as 9.5, and that's a lot because I was not overly impressed with the Eagles' offense, even against Tampa Bay. All 3 weeks so far, they've played two very tough defenses, but I just haven't seen like that clicking. I've seen Jalen missing open passes.
He's missed a shitload of them.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing that. Offensive coordinators are, to me, defense, you can plug a coordinator in a little easier than an offensive coordinator. I think there's a lot of points to give this Washington team. And I think they're only getting this points because of what the Eagles just did in primetime for everyone to see. Okay, the Eagles are back. We get it. They're a top 1, 2, 3 team in the league.
And the Commanders
just got smoked to a Bills that people were kind of low, kind of high on. Now they're like, okay, the Bills are legit again. This to me is a lot of points. So right off the bat, I'm taking the 8. I hate that I have the hook. I'd like it better at 6, as sick as that sounds. Obviously, I don't mean that. And then the last thing I would say, this might be my biggest play of the week on the under. 44.5 is not that low. Washington really only put up a bunch of points against Denver. But look what Miami just did to Denver. I do not high on this. I am not high on this Washington offense. Not at all. And I think their defense is actually decent. And I'm not high right now on Philly's offense, but I think they have an elite defense. So
elite D line, that's for damn sure. We have some issues in the back end of it. Our defense.
I really like this under. So by far, I'm on the under. Secondly, I'm on the +8. Nothing crazy, guys. Like a nice 23-17 here. A nice 23-17 gets the job done for me.
Yeah, it's hard to understand how good the Commanders actually are.
We have
like especially defensively, because they put themselves in such bad situations by turning the ball over and playing bad offensively, that your defense is better when your offense is good, right? You get to sit on the bench, you get the rest, you're in good situations. But when your offense is dog shit, you then make your defense that much worse. So it's hard to say. I'm going to lean the Commanders on the points here. I'd like to get 9. I think it's already up to 8.5. We'll see what that number goes to. But this is a classic. This is a classic game where the public gets beat. And you guys can never call me biased again, since I'm probably going to bet against my Eagles here. I'll probably take Eagles money line and Commanders +9. All right, Steelers versus Texans here. Steelers -133. The spread is 3. The over/under 41.5. Texans 7-18 straight up and 8-15 against the spread, coming off of a win, which they did last week The under has hit in 15 of the Steelers' last 23 games. What do you like here?
This is always where I scratch my head, guys. And anyone that knows me, I'm a contrarian. I talk a lot of crap about the industry, like jokingly. Sometimes I just don't trust the data we're getting. I'm seeing right here that Houston has 55% of the bets on the money line and 58 on the spread. That would surprise me. I know Pitt is a popular team, and their only losses to the Niners. They just came off a good win, primetime to 2 back-to-back primetime.
Yeah, but it was a dog shit win.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just surprised. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not calling anyone out. This is just where sometimes I just don't believe what I'm told. So I have a hard time believing that the more bet team here is Houston. I really do, guys. So that throws me off. There are times, I'm just telling you all, just so you don't know me, there are times I skip bets just because my stomach, something just doesn't feel right. I'm looking at all the data and I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. So I know I sound like a psychopath, but I'm just telling you the truth. So now put all that aside. There are less bets on Pitt on the money line, 45%, but 78% of the money. That's crazy to me. How on earth do more people like Houston to win this game in tickets, but less in money? I don't get it. But this is not a buy low spot on either team. They're both off a win and both off a cover. But I'm leaning Pitt here. Matty said it earlier. This will be my squarest play of the week, I think, on Pitt. I only saw Pitt in their first game get dominated by my Niners, who I think are the best team in the NFL. So really, it's hard to open up against a team like that. And aside from all that, I really believe this Pitt team has beat a very good Cleveland team, and they went into the Raiders and won a tough game. So any way you slice this, that's my squarest play of the week, I think, on Pitt.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you here. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. -3 on the road's a little tough, but look, the reality of it is CJ Stroud, like, he's up there for Rookie of the Year, but now you're about to go up against TJ Watt and company, and the Steelers defense is the real deal. They're second in the league in quarterback hits. The Texans are 25th defending the quarter. The Texans are 25th offensively in defending the quarterback hits. I didn't really like what I saw much from the Steelers. I thought that they got lucky on that primetime win. But
I haven't liked what I saw from Pickett at all this year. Either Brock and Pickett, both their QBRs to me are better than their actual playing. I think they're both worse than their rankings.
Yeah,
he's missing open guy. I've seen some great throws, but some crappy ones too. Yeah. I just think the ceiling is higher for Pitt.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I lean Pitt here. I honestly probably won't make this an official play. It probably won't make my card, but I do. If I had to pick something here, I go Pittsburgh on the road to get it done. Yeah,
and again, guys, be careful. When we say it's square, we mean we just don't like it. We don't like being with what we believe will be a public play.
Yeah. Moving on here, we got the Raiders going to. Well, actually, you know what's funny is every Chargers game never feels like a home game for that team.
But Raiders will have the house.
We got the Raiders versus the Chargers. Plus 233 on the money line for the Raiders. 6 points is the spread. The over-under is 48. 48, right? And right now, Jimmy G is questionable with that concussion. Austin Eckler is questionable as well for the Chargers. Chargers are 1-3 against the spread coming off a win. The under is hitting 18 of the Chargers' last 25 games. What do you like here?
God, who are these Chargers, man? Like, honestly, who are they? Like, are they a playoff team? They can compete every week. They've been in every game. They're not putting teams away. Minnesota had every chance to beat them. Every chance to beat them. And they'd be 0-3.
I cannot believe their decision to kick that field goal. I mean, don't get me wrong.
The Raiders?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what about the Chargers? Well, yeah. What about the Chargers to go for it on their 30?
Yeah. So
these are two idiots facing each other.
This is literally the battle of the fucking idiots.
Battle of the bozos.
There has to, like, logically, we need to talk through this game and figure out what can we hammer. Is it an over-under? Is it a money line? Is it a prop? But what can we logically come up with here when you have one idiot in decision-making versus another idiot in decision-making? Because that's what these teams are. The Chargers 4th and 1 on their own side of the field, up at the end of the game. they go for it to try to end the game. Instead, you can make a team drive the whole field, no timeouts to beat you. The Raiders, on the other hand, you're down 8. A 12-year-old playing Madden knows that you go for it on 4th and 4. I get it if you're down 8 and it's 4th and 15, and you're like, oh, I can take a quick field goal here and then try to get the ball back. But it's literally 4th and 4. Like, it's unbelievable they kicked that field goal. I could not believe that actually happened. The data even backed it up, saying I saw on Twitter that they had a 15% chance to win the game if they would have went for it on 4th and 4, and they had a 10% to win the game if they kicked the field goal, go down 5, and then try to get the ball back. But common sense tells you that going for it made a lot more sense. So, but again, what can we come up with? And chat, feel free to chime in here. I want to hear from you guys. Like, these are two terrible decision-making teams. I want to know what we can cook up here on this game based upon what we know from that.
And I want to read you a stat. So there were 24 instances since 1999 when a team was down exactly 8 in the final 3 minutes on 4th down.
Say this again?
Yeah. Since 1999, 24 times a team was down 8, less than 3 minutes on the 10 or closer. 19 passes, 5 rushes, no field goals. That was the first time. And guys, maybe if you're down 5 or 6, 4, 5 or 6, you kick the field goal because then a second field goal.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
There's not enough time left.
No, there still wasn't enough time.
Even if you're down 6,
I'm just saying maybe.
Yeah.
But they still needed a touchdown.
Right.
So to Matty's point, this is one of the dumbest coaching things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Let's not even forget the points. They had them on the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
The fact that they made the field goal and then kicked off, the punt was from the 30. A punt from a 30 alone versus a 4 is substantially different. A punter can't fully extend. There is like 50 reasons not to do what was done. But to Matty's point, we'll find a way to bet this game. I would say
I'm not to interrupt you, but I wouldn't be surprised if this Raiders team is selling their coaching after that shit. Like,
he's on hot water. Like,
yeah, like this is
talk crap
the
about
Chargers
gamblers.
are going to be the squarest bet of the week. Like, everyone's going to be on them, but like at least you know what you're getting with the Chargers. They have an aggressive approach where it's not as dumb as what the Raiders did. It's just like, hey, we think we're going to convert. We want to keep the ball. And that's just who they've always been. The Raiders, on the other hand, so many moving pieces and just stupid decision-making.
Yep.
What's the spread, 6 here?
It's a lot.
It is a lot, but
it's a lot because the Raiders haven't been able to put points up.
My gut tells me the Raiders get routed here on the road after that bullshit last week. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the team is like, hey, we want this dude out of here. Like, that's just what my gut tells me. Chargers are second in the NFL on getting first downs. The Raiders 26th in defending teams from getting first downs. I think the Chargers move the chains here a lot, control the time of possession, control the game, and I think they win outright, obviously. I believe they cover the spread. I could also see this being a publicly bet over, and I think if the Chargers can move the chain and not just throw the ball down the field, but just keep moving the chains and hold the ball and run clock, I could see like a 27-17 and a Chargers win.
Yeah, so I like the under with you. It's showing 59% of the tickets, but 79% of the money. I always look for that 20% variance. For anyone out there looking, what the hell does he care about and not care about? I want to see a 20% variance. Secondly, and this is again, guys, I'm sorry to give you data that I just don't trust. It says 8% of the money line tickets are on the Raiders, but 87% of the money. The only way is if some like whale just slapped down some early money. It's early in the week, so take that with a grain of salt. But from what I've seen, the Raiders can't score. And the Chargers haven't taken, they've loosened the jar, but they haven't taken the lid off. So I like what Matty's saying. The reason I like the under here as the most is I genuinely believe the Raiders aren't going to put up enough against these Chargers.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Raiders only scored 16 against the Broncos. We've seen what the Broncos have given up defensively against the Dolphins. The Raiders only scored 10 against the Bills. And then last week, the embarrassing decision and to lose the game 23-18 against Pittsburgh, who really didn't move the ball that well. They had a lot of opportunities to score against Pittsburgh. So
And
the more I keep talking through this game, the more I want to hammer the Chargers on the spread.
And the Chargers held the Vikings to 24. Obviously, is an asterisk there because the Vikings could have scored, but they didn't. The Raiders are substantially worse on offense than these Vikings from what we've seen.
Yep.
Jimmy just doesn't score a lot of points. He just doesn't. Even though I was wrong week 1 taking Denver, what I will say is what I said was Jimmy won't be able to score enough to win with these Raiders.
I like it. All right, let's move on. I believe by far the biggest point spread of the week here. The Arizona Cardinals travels to GIno's San Francisco 49ers. A 14-point spread in the NFL. 43.5 is the total. 57% of the tickets are on the Cardinals. Usually that would not be on the case, but they bet Dak Prescott over last week. So now the public said, you know what? You're going to give me 14 points on this Cardinals team after upsetting the Cowboys? They're on it. 43% of the tickets on the 49ers. Deebo Samuel is questionable. Brandon Ayuk questionable. Definitely want to monitor those two things. But honestly, I think the 49ers run all over this team in San Francisco. I don't know how much they're even going to need all of their weapons here. I think this is a great sell spot for the Cardinals. Just upset the Cowboys. The whole world's talking about it. Now it's like, okay, we're coming into San Francisco. We're feeling ourselves. I think they get punched in the mouth. I think the 49ers go up 14-0 in the first quarter of this game. I really do.
I like it, my dude. Give that man a mic. Give him a megaphone. So what do they got? The book's got this as what, 28-14? That's what they see this as, 28-14. Yeah, that's what it adds up. This one's hard for me, right? The Cardinals just got disrespected with that Dallas spread, and they came out and won. The Cardinals are 3-0 against the spread. One of my best quotes, and this has been a bad season for me, guys, so follow me, tail with caution for now. I did say the Cardinals will cover more than they will not this year. The public is too low on them. The media is too low. I did not think they would come out 3-0 against the spread. What I will say here is 14's a lot in a divisional game early in the season. I just don't think the Cardinals are going to be able to score on us, and I think we're going to be able to get ours. And that over-under is insanely low, considering the Niners have put up 30 every game. So,
but then again, this is a game where they might not need to.
They won't need to.
That's the thing. It's like look, in the Eagles game, right? I took Jalen Hurts over. I took the Eagles -3 first half, and I went 2-0 on those picks, right?
Yeah.
But I had Jalen Hurts 300+ yards at +470. He ended the game with 276. I lost that bet because guess what? The Eagles didn't need him to throw that many yards.
But bro, you gave out one loser.
It's the same way I look at this game. Is I'm like, be careful on taking any San Francisco props here, right? Like, be careful on taking Purdy's overs. Be careful on taking overs of any receivers. Because I guarantee you, if the 49ers come out and punch this team in the mouth early, it's one of those games where they could be resting in the second half. We look at the injuries they have. Deebo Samuel questionable. Brandon Ayuk questionable. I think that I'm going to honestly look at this first half bet, bro. I want to know if someone in the chat can look that up for me. I think 49ers first half could be a really solid play here where it's like, hey,
how about that?
We're a little banged up. Let's come out and punch this team in the mouth early. Let's get a double-digit lead here, and then let's coast in the second half. And that's kind of how I think this game will play out. Now, here's what I'll say. 49ers third in the league in rushing yards in the NFL. Cardinals 26th in the league in defending it. I mean, that tells you all you need to know about this game, in my opinion. I think that's why the spread is 14. What is this number? The question is, what is this number if the Cardinals didn't upset Dallas last week? Is it 17?
That's what I'm saying. Is this is a little disrespectful to Arizona. I'm being honest. These are grown ass men that could, half of them can bench press cars. The Niners are a tough team, right? Because even a team that hangs with us, we can pull away from, just like Miami. So, and honestly, just like the Eagles once they get caught up. If I had to try and be unbiased while being biased, I agree with Matty here. I kind of like this Cardinals team total under. If I had to how do the Niners
first half spread, bro?
The first half spread?
Probably 10.
That's a good question. First half, 7.5 only.
No fucking way.
It is.
Put 10,000 on that.
I ain't lying to you. It's right there. It's wild, right?
Oh my God.
We had 7 against the Giants. when we were a 10-point spread or even 9-point spread. It's weird.
No
That's a weird
way.
one.
What's the first quarter?
Oh, why are you making me dive deep? Here we go.
Oh my God.
3.5.
I mean, that's ballsy. The first quarter is ballsy, but
Yeah,
the
because
first
you need a
half,
touchdown. You need a touchdown and
7.5, bro. I'm locking that in. That might be a 2-unit play for me.
We can be square as hell here. Let's be
do.
square here. Niners minus 3.5 locked, minus 7.5 locked. What is the Cardinals team total? I'm trying to find both teams to score in the first quarter. No. Yeah, that's not even good
love
odds.
the 49ers first half. That's going to be on my card.
I can't find the Cardinals team total, guys. Sorry. I'm trying.
All right, let's move on unless you got anything else.
No.
Gino's biased, so we're just moving on.
Yeah, please.
But I do love the 49ers there. All right, Patriots versus Cowboys. This is another one of my favorite plays of the week, and you might be surprised on what it is here. Patriots, 6.5-point dog on the road, plus 257 on the money line. 43.5 is the over/under. Cowboys 14-5 against the spread, coming off a loss. So when they lose, they come back and play very well, according to the market. Under is hit in 9 of the Cowboys' last 12 games. What do you like here, bro?
Ah, man. The buy low, sell high points of the Cowboys. I have not been impressed at all with the New England Patriots offense.
Not at all.
Not even a little bit with their offense. Their defense is good. They've played some tough teams, though. If you look at who they've played, it's been tough.
Yeah. I mean, they held the Dolphins to 24, right? Is that what it was?
Y'all are going to hate this play, but I did this about 2 weeks ago. I took the Washington-Denver over because I said that line didn't make any sense. I'm going to do the same thing here. Mm-hmm. I'm over 43 on this game. Mm-hmm. Patriots find a way to get both waxed and put up 17 points.
Mm. Here's what I'll say about this game. I think Micah Parsons is going to feast on Mac Jones. I really do. I love the Dallas Cowboys in this spot. I know that sounds crazy. I bet against the Cowboys last week. I love the Cardinals in that spot. This is a spot where I think it's a get-right spot for the Cowboys. Their defense, third in the NFL in scoring and first downs, second in the NFL defending the passing game. I don't think the Patriots are going to have much success here on the road. I think it's a bounce-back spot. I mean, to win by a touchdown or more here. Maybe a public selling the Cowboys now. What was the money percentage? The tickets.
Yeah, they're a little
58% of the tickets on the Patriots. I don't know what the money looks like.
More tickets on the Patriots, more money. Matty, I think you're on the right side here.
I think the Cowboys
bounce back.
I don't think the Cowboys are going to light them up offensively. I just think look for the Cowboys defense to put their team in a good situation in this game. I think they can really never fails. I think the Cowboys defense can put their offense in a good situation just against this team, whether it's getting sacks and then forcing punts where you're getting the ball at midfield or whether you're generating turnovers because of your pass rush. It's a huge bounce back spot for them. They just got embarrassed. They were a double-digit favorite. They lost to the low-life Cardinals, and now they're back at Jerry World playing a Patriots team that, honestly, the only impressive thing they've done was hold the Dolphins to 24 points. And that was a division game.
It's tough.
So I like the Cowboys a lot here.
And I'm on the over just because it makes no sense. And I mean that. I will be betting the over.
This line seems pretty high. Cowboys' performance last week.
It is high.
Exactly. All right, moving on.
Got some Sunday night football.
Sunday night football. So we got 2 games left. There's only one Monday night football game. Let's do Sunday night first. We got the Chiefs versus the Jets. Massive road favorite here for Kansas City. 10 points is the spread. Minus 375 on the money line. The total is 41.5. You generally do not see a total that low.
Oh, my God.
In a Patrick Mahomes-led game.
Right?
Obviously, we know about Aaron Rodgers being out. Not a ton of injuries on both sides outside of that one. Chiefs are 8-1 straight up coming off a win. The under is hitting 13 of the Jets' last 18 games coming off of a loss. What do you like here?
I like the under. I really like this under. These Chiefs defense have come out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. They have a top defense. And, they scored at will against the Bears. That's fine. This to me is going to be over. The over is going to be overbet by mistake. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets don't put up 10. I really wouldn't. If they put up 9, 3 field goals.
31-10 goes under.
Yeah. Just like a, 27-10, something like that.
Yeah, this is a game I'm staying far away from. Trevor
It's ugly.
Siemian did just get picked up by the Jets, but it's hard to believe that he'll be able to do a turnaround this quickly, right?
Yeah.
It
They
just
have
happened.
talent.
That just happened today on a Tuesday. The Jets can
Reese
run the
is a
ball. They can
setup.
play defense. I will say one thing. The Jets are a top defense in the league, and to give them 10 points at home is
Agreed.
is tough to bet against that. But then again, it is Kansas City, who they've looked more impressive even defensively this year than normal. So I think Kansas City.
I'm going to watch this
game,
closely.
Yeah, this is a game that I don't see really value on either side. You can really make the case for Kansas City here or the Jets just based off being home, being a double-digit dog, and having a good defense. Let's get and move on here. Last game of the week, we got Monday Night Football. I don't know about you, but I like 2 games.
I do too, of course.
2 games for primetime is so
better
much
for
better
parlays,
than one,
sickos.
especially when you got shitty games. But all right, we got the Seattle Seahawks going to the Giants. They're a small road favorite here, and the Giants 11 days rest.
Oh.
Keep that in mind. Seahawks -1.5 on the road, over under 45.5. Saquon is questionable. Let us know in the chat, guys, if you've seen any updates on him, if you think he'll play or not. Seahawks are coming off of that 37-point performance against the Panthers. They did run for 146 yards in that game. However, they gave up 361 yards to Andy Dalton, so that's something to consider here. Giants are coming off of the 30-12 beating. Not 11 days ago, but it will be 11 days by the time the game starts this weekend. 30-12 beating on Thursday Night Football. 11 days to rest and prepare for this Seattle team. And honestly, Seattle is a pretty good home team historically, but on the road here, is this a get-right game for the Giants?
I think it is. I like the Giants here. I was on Carolina, so I can't talk against Seattle. I hate on the Giants, or the Seahawks a little too much, but yeah. I actually thought the Giants hung with the Niners closer than the score would tell you.
Yeah.
And then the Niners just blew them away. The Seahawks don't have that firepower. Mm-hmm. I like the Giants in this spot a lot, and I have no lean on this over-under. I've gone back and forth a lot.
Yeah, well, I think in the comments here, I think he's right. I think the Giants are now they're now a 1.5 point favorite. So I think that line opened at around 1 and it got hammered. Is what I'm seeing. I don't know if I'm seeing that, but
yeah,
which honestly makes me like the Giants more. I like the Giants in this spot. A few extra days of rest to prepare for this team. I think that the Giants are always better than what they've done, if that makes sense. Like, again, that 40-0 loss against the Cowboys, I got smacked on that bet. I had New York. It was a terrible pick, but I'm just not ready to completely sell the Giants yet. I'm just not. Like, this is a get-right spot for them at home. I would have loved to get them as a small dog on the money line here, so I don't blame you guys if you pass on this now that they're a small favorite. But then again, if you're just going to take the point spread, right, you take the -1, -1.5. I do like that, and I do lean that way. They're 31st. The Giants are 31st in scoring. They have not been good offensively, but this could be a get-right spot. Seattle's defense, 29th defensively against scoring. Danny Dimes might ball out here. Seahawks, 32nd defensively in red zone efficiency, right? 31st in red zone conversions and 31st in defending the pass game. They have been terrible. And you pair all those terrible defensive stats against a team that now has 11 days to prepare for you. It makes sense why this number is -1 already.
100%.
So we're on the Giants here. The chat says over. I don't hate that. We shall see. Let's go ahead and dive into a recap, and then we're going to bring Trevor on for our DFS part. But if you guys have just tuning in here recently and weren't able to watch the whole show, or if you're watching on YouTube later or after the fact, you can use the chapters at the bottom of the screen and look game by game. But let's get ahead and start with GIno's Survivor pick of the week. And I think you might even want to add one to that based on what we said.
100%. So diving into my Survivor, I got smoked last week. I gave out Jacksonville and Baltimore. They eliminated all my plays except one. I do a one coward Survivor, and I had Kansas City. This week, I would say, just covering top spreads. You got SF, Dallas, Kansas City, Philly, all obvious. Denver's a ballsy play that I'd support. Minnesota and Jacksonville, I cannot support. Pitt's an interesting one. I'm going to make Pitt my play. Their only L is to the Niners. They beat a good Cleveland. That's the official answer, and I'd also support Denver. I got to save all good teams in this one, or you're just worthless. Making it to week 8, if you used all good teams, you might as well just burn it. Doesn't matter.
I like it. All right, for dog of the week, I have 2 dogs up there for one reason and one reason only. I'm only taking the Panthers as my 3.5-point dog, which, by the way, this is a scenario where I like the points. I would not take the money line. But I do like the Panthers plus 3.5 if Andy Dalton doesn't play, or if Andy Dalton does play. If Andy Dalton does not play, I'm throwing the Panthers out. I might even throw the over out if he doesn't play. If Andy Dalton does not play, the Panthers are not my dog of the week, and I'll be locking in the Commanders against my own Philadelphia Eagles. I'm hoping to get a 9-point spread there to do that. And Gino's dog of the week?
Atlanta Falcons plus 3 or plus 144. I'll go half a unit on each.
And for my buy low spot of the week, look at this. I'd never want to hear anyone say I'm a biased Eagles fan. I'm taking the Commanders possibly as a dog of the week against my Eagles. And then I'm buying low on the Cowboys here. I love this Cowboys team to bounce back at home. I think they win the game outright and they cover the spread.
I'm going to go Rams. I cannot believe I've liked them now 3 times. They're 1-1, and they were such a dog in the first week that I'm still up on them on the year. Rams plus 1.5. Rams money line. That's my buy low spot of the week. I thought they just had a terrible game against Cincy, and Cincy's back was to the wall at home. I like the Rams.
And for the sell high part, make sure you guys understand this. These are not teams we are picking when we say sell high. I'm selling the Patriots, which aligns with my buy low spot on the Cowboys.
Yep.
Because I'm taking the Cowboys to cover the spread here against the Patriots. The Patriots to win that game 15-10 against the Jets with basically no quarterback. You can't even call Zach Wilson a quarterback at this point. That game was embarrassing for them to win 15-10. I just don't think it's a good win. And, the public looks at it as, hey, the Patriots won. And now they're playing a team in the Dallas Cowboys who just lost to one of the worst teams in the league. I'm selling the Patriots this week.
We got some overlap here because I'm selling the Eagles. I love their defense grossly, but I just believe Washington keeps it close, especially at plus 9.5. I have no reason not to like this early in the season in the division.
Yeah. And what's your best bet of the week?
I'm going under 44.5 Commies Eagles. This is dangerous, right? Because both these teams have put up big numbers. I just think in a division game versus each other, this is going to be an absolute grind. I'm really hoping for a nice little 24-17, 20-17, 23-20. If I really want to sweat, 23-17, something like that.
My hammer spot of the week has an asterisk next to it. Andy Dalton has to play. But I love the over 45.5. If I'm telling you guys taking over, I really have to like it because I love my unders. The Vikings defense, 26th in scoring, 29th red zone efficiency, 22nd against third down conversions, 25th against the pass, 29th in quarterback hits, and 28th in tackles for loss. If you can't get after the quarterback, Andy Dalton is a guy that can actually pick you apart. And I like both teams to score well over 23 or 24 points apiece here. Love the over 45.5. Let's go ahead and move on to our final segment of the show. We're going to be bringing in our guy, Trevor, and going over some daily fantasy sports here. Trevor, what's good, bro?
All right, what's going on, boys?
How we doing?
Good. It's, man, that was a weird, wild week. If you didn't have the Dolphins for props in DFS, you were not winning. There was the winning scores for daily fantasy were like 280, 300 points. That's a wild week.
I was probably the only jackass on the planet that took the under of Tyreek Hill's receiving yards. So there's that.
Yeah, we did hit his over. I did like it. I liked the matchup last week with Waddle out. So I really like. This is a weird, ugly slate. These are the slates I like. These are the ones that I like that are weird. So from a DFS standpoint, here's some spots I really, really like. If the Red Rockets playing, I like that Carolina mini game over in a DFS standpoint.
Let's go. I love to hear that.
If he plays, if it's Bryce, throw the team away.
Yeah, because I'm just going to run the ball too much.
Yeah, but I like that game. It's a must win for Minnesota. Like, that's a must win. I really like that spot from a DFS standpoint. I really like the Steelers Texans game, and I like the Texans side. The Steelers just
give us some plays first, though. And so the Carolina game, if Danny Dalton plays, what do you like?
We are all over Adam, Dream, and Thielen. If the Red Rocket's in, we are going after Adam. He is going to pepper him. He has shown him he's his guy. Like, it's just such an easy play for me if he's in. I love it. It's super easy. And on the Minnesota side, JJ is there. I want to see, they haven't dropped the line for TJ Hawkinson yet. This is probably a big buy on TJ this week. I really like the upside he'll have against this Carolina team, especially if they're scoring. So I think this could be a really interesting spot, but it's all on Dalton for me. Because if not, I think Minnesota's going to run at him. They'll activate Cam this week because Carolina can't stop the run. So they need Dalton to put up some points, and Bryce just isn't ready yet.
What's your second game?
Yeah, so Pittsburgh, Houston. Man, I really like CJ Stroud. I think Carolina is going to regret for a long, long time taking Bryce over CJ. Deco looks great. Tank looks great. And Pittsburgh looks terrible to me. Like, I don't like how Pittsburgh looks. And I think this is a spot they can really go after him. I think they're going to line up well. It's an interesting spot. So I want to see where their lines land, but that's a game I'm going to be watching. Just
what players, specifically, what players do you like in the game?
So back to Tank Dell, Nico, and CJ Stroud.
Got it.
If they keep CJ's line down in the 220 range, I think it's going to be a pretty easy bet to over this week.
Got it. Give us one more game that you like.
Yeah. So the one other game, I think this is a must-win game for them, is the Bengals. If the Bengals can't throw on this Titans passing defense, which is arguably the worst in the NFL right now, if they can't throw on them, these guys are in a lot of trouble. I get Burrow's hurt, but this is a spot where they gotta go. You can't run on Tennessee, but you can throw for 500 yards on those guys. So this is
receivers do you like?
Yeah. This is Chase, T, Boyd. This is onslaught. This should be a game. They should go score 35 to 45 points, and Burrow should throw for 400, 4 tutties. Chase should go off. T should go off. Like, this should just be a monster. This is a monster spot for them. And if they don't, it's panic time in Cincy.
The over-under in the game doesn't scare you. That's in the low 40s.
Nope. No, because they're not going to run Mixon at him. They know better. They're not going to run Mixon at that wall. And I think it's there because Burrow hasn't been right. I actually think they need to sit him. I'm curious if they play him this week, unless his calf gets way better, right? You watch him try to just move out of the pocket. Last night, try to step out of the pocket. He couldn't do it. Like, he's trying to, he couldn't move around.
Do you still like the receivers overs, even though he's banged up?
It depends. I want to see where he's at later in the week. So this is a game we're watching. We're not betting this early. Just like the game, I'll give an official play for Thursday night. Christian Watson came out today and said he's going to play. I want to see if he actually plays. Here's why. You can eat Detroit in the slot. Like, absolutely eat them. Their slot corner is a revolving door. So if Watson plays, I actually think this is a great spot for Jalen Reed or Musgrove to go over their yards. Jordan Love leads the league in ADOT right now. Like, he's leading the league from a quarterback position in ADOT. That's wild to me, but they're showing they're going to throw the ball, right? AJ hasn't been in. So they're throwing the ball, and this is a spot they can throw. So for me, we got to see if Watson plays, but if he does, we're really going to be on Musgrove or we're going to be on Jalen Reed because he's going to stretch the field and open up targets underneath for them all day.
I like it. All right, well, let's finish with give us your one play. If you have the hammer, one prop for the entire weekend, Someone's gun to your head and you have to pick one prop. Who you taking?
So looking at this, it's they don't have the lines out yet, but it's Seattle. I think the Seahawks, their pass block matchup against the Giants, right? We've seen the Giants and Wink so far. They have not looked good. Now, I think the Giants are going to be able to score, but I think Monday night, I think DK is going to eat them. I'm almost, it's almost an auto blind bet for me this week on their matchup.
DK Metcalf's over.
Yep, I like DK's over this week a lot.
I like it, bro.
Not a boy. We got to wait till Monday to sweat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the matchup. Like they have arguably the best matchup, pass blocking matchup on paper. He's going to have all kinds of time. They're going to be able to attack them, and we've seen what these teams are doing to the Giants. They just don't look right. This is another spot the Giants got to correct. Right, this is a game they got to come up and put some points and show they have an actual offense here.
I like it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you coming on. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. That is everything. That's the end of the show. We will be back live every single week. Be back for week 5, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Please like, follow, subscribe to the channels. Go make a betopenly.com account, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later, my dudes.
On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces for a taste of your whiskey. I'll give you some advice. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away, knowing what to keep. Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, and the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And when he finished speaking, he turned back toward the window, crushed out his cigarette, faded off to sleep. And somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. In his final words, I found an ace that I could keep. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.